everybody. Welcome back to the Chilluminati podcast, episode 341. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mike Martin, joined by my own Leon and Claire, Jesse and Alex.
Oh my God.
Leon and Claire?
Yeah.
Who does that
Kennedy
make you?
and Claire Redfield. I'm Mr. X.
You're Mr. X? Yeah, all right.
You know why?
Yeah, okay.
You know why? Because he's always coming after us. Hey.
What?
Huh.
All right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that something?
No.
It's something. Semen?
Semen?
No, it's not.
There's something there.
Is that the fastest we've ever gone, 0 to semen on the show?
It might be, and I appreciate you taking the record from me.
I'm just trying to like, heighten and explore. I'm just trying to.
You're yes-ending and appreciate that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's just about the bit, I'm just trying to see where we can get.
Jesse's Claire.
Oh yeah. I look good in red. Fact.
I've seen you as May. You do great work.
Long hair, fabulous.
Long hair, big
What can I
boobies.
say?
That's all we need.
I'm Leon because I'm
Leon.
destined to
Be dead inside.
have the worst life of anyone that ever lived.
Yeah.
Dude, that was going in on Resident 2 remake to Leon's first day, banners hanging out, welcome Leon. I'm like, this guy just was fucked from the get-go. His life is screwed. Anyway, we've all been playing Resident Evil, everybody. I don't know if you can tell.
The new game's great. It's fantastic.
Excellent.
I'm having a great time with Resident Evil Requiem, you guys.
It is. It's awesome. I'm loving it a lot.
It's freaking hilarious.
Then Monster Hunter Stories 3 is soon. It's good. We're eating good as gamers right now. It's a good time.
Daddy Capcom's got us taken care of.
They do. They do.
I should have played Exoprimal. What was wrong with me?
You can be our daddies at patreon.com/Chilluminati.
Oh my God. You kind of can.
And mommies. Yeah, you
kind of can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
No.
kind of can.
Anyone can be a daddy. Let's be
Exactly. That's true. That's true. Anyone can be a daddy.
Yes, but for us to call you it, that costs $10,000.
I'll do it for cheaper. I don't give a shit.
Jess, we're gonna throw another
No, Jesse.
2K. We're gonna put a 2K a month tier up there just for Jesse. And he goes,
No, like
that
$3.50
money
in a
goes-
sandwich. I'll be like, thanks, Daddy. Much.
you need the pepper, the smoked turkey from the grocery store.
A really
on
good,
the nice big
a
roll.
really good deli sandwich.
Yeah, throw in a little bacon, mix it up. I don't know.
Oh, the bacon you get called
Spicy
daddy
aioli?
immediately.
A little arugula. I don't know.
Crispy bacon, or do you like it not as crispy?
I'm gonna need some crisp. It
Yeah, me
depends. It depends. Is the bread crispy? Because if the bread's crispy, I don't need the crispy bacon. But if it's a soft bread, the crispy
bacon
bread
is the feature. You don't want it to be that crispy. But if it's a condiment, you know what I'm saying? If it's an add-on,
Okay.
Yeah,
the bacon
yeah.
you want a little to go a long way with the
There's
crunch.
thought that goes into sandwiches, man. It's
Brother, it's Zen,
Put
bro.
food in front of me and I'll eat it. I don't really think
That's
that
why I'm
much
Leon.
about the food. That's why you're Leon. That's why you're Leon.
Because he just like same way he organizes his inventory is the same way I make a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I
to
have to
figure
go
out
buy
what
a
that
red
means, but,
leather jacket now.
Yeah,
Yeah, you should.
honestly,
Damn.
you'd end up looking like everybody would think you were like doing
every
like
YouTuber ever.
Eddie Murphy, maybe. Oh, you
Eddie
think like
Murphy.
you think
I
you'd
don't
be
know
on
if
your
that's what they
like
would think.
your Matt Pat days, little Italian.
I don't think it'd be like, wow, look at Eddie Murphy over here.
If you got a red leather jacket that looked like Claire's, you would look like Eddie Murphy from his stand-up special.
That's what I thought about Jesse, is that he looks exactly like Eddie Murphy.
I thought he's got the chops, he's got the pipes.
Mhm.
When Jesse told me he was white, it was crazy.
I know. It's everyone, no one can believe it. They're like,
I could
whoa.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Are we allowed to talk about our live show? If not, Dean, edit this out. But we have a live show that we know the date of, right?
We do have a live show. It's this August.
Yeah.
Do we know anything else that we can say? Not really, but expect something in the next week or two.
Yeah, are we dancing around it delightfully because we know a lot more than we're letting on? Yes.
Did I bring it up not knowing how much we were allowed to talk about? Yep.
Well, no, look, there's nowhere to send you yet to get
Yeah,
tickets.
that's fair.
So, I don't know what to tell you, but same place as last time, still in Chicago. It's going to be fun. So
Yeah, keep
please,
your
except
ears
it's in the
peeled.
summer now, so you won't be freezing when you come see us.
Exactly. Though I do love the holiday vibes of Chicago. And I love Chicago. That was my first time there last year. And that city is fucking beautiful. God
Well,
damn.
now you'll get to see it in the summer.
Exactly. My sister has decided that my brother and myself have to all retire to Chicago after we turn 50, so we can all live in Chicago.
You
She
guys
loved it
had that
much.
magical of a time there?
My sister did. My sister had that magical of a time in
Wow.
Chicago. She
That's
fell in
great.
love with that
What
city.
did you
It is
guys
a
do?
beautiful
Like go
city.
to a museum together and ride a tandem bicycle?
Yeah, exactly. It was a
Got
three-person
on one of
tandem
those
bicycle.
like duck boat things, those
Yeah.
duck tours. Like, one of them is like,
Yeah.
Each one of us had an ice cream cone with different flavor, vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate, out holding it as we rolled our tandem bicycle.
Yeah,
All in
yeah.
Chicago. I'm excited.
oh, but then the person in the front, their ice cream flew back and hit the person behind him, and that ice cream flew back, and the last person had like a triple sundae, but it was chocolate, vanilla, strawberry.
Somebody
and they
came
were
in
like,
with another
"Oh!"
cone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that cartoon.
Yeah. Jesse, yeah, you were there.
Mhm.
Anyway, welcome to the episode. Jesse, you just take the reins because this is a you episode
Like a
today.
Beatles
It
cartoon.
is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, look, it's March. I'm aware. We're all aware. But the legendary love story that I began back in February, it's time to finish it. It's time to take us back to a tale of intergalactic love. Look, I'm going to say a thing, and I think everyone listening was thinking the same thing. For a month of love, this show did not deliver. I don't know what we
it was
were
a
doing.
month of sex. It was,
It was a month of
sex.
dirty, perverted
Yeah.
sex. This is about love today.
Oh,
this
you're bringing
is
it
about
back.
intergalactic love as told by a very sweet old woman who remembers the story of this love. And yeah, look, it ain't going to be that pervy stuff. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be romantic. Fix a bath, put flower petals or some shit in there.
Bath
Light
bomb yourself.
way too many candles.
Just straight up bath bomb yourself. Just like go hog wild,
Mhm.
bath bombing yourself. They're like
Just
three
cover
different
yourself
flavors
in
in
bath
there.
bombs and jump in.
Do the ice cream bit that we were just doing, but do it with bath bombs.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
insane.
Fix up the bed, cuddle all in,
Fix up the bed, dude.
and get ready.
Cut the
Yeah,
bed in
put
half.
sheets on that thing. Stop sleeping on the mattress. Actually, put sheets on there now.
Get a table that goes under the side of the bed so that you don't have to put the table on the bed because the bed is unstable while you're eating. You know what I'm saying?
You know, what are you eating on that bed?
Fucking crispy ass bacon. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like
Oh, all right, that's one answer.
some tin
I
fish.
would have gone a different direction, but
Some
like
tin fish.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of beluga caviar. I don't know. A little.
Vagina.
Oh, there it
No,
is.
there it is.
See,
Anyway, today most of this is from the book Beyond the Light Barrier from 1980, written by the person who it takes place with, Elizabeth Klarer. But also, hey, if you don't want to read, if you're like, I hate reading, for shame on you. But also, you can go to Amazon Prime and there's a documentary about the exact same name that's like an hour and a half that
Like an
is
adaptation of the
roughly
book.
the story retold. It's done by a South African film team because most of this takes place in South Africa. And
Yeah.
it's interesting, but it misses out a ton of stuff
Yeah.
and goes really far into here's the reasons why she's not crazy because of X, Y, and Z, which is mostly, as we discussed last time, she was in the Air Force. She was very smart and gave speeches and was before like the UN and da-da-da. So like it does a lot of that. Like, no, this woman is not an insane person. She really was abducted. Like that's what the video is saying.
To
Basically.
those people who are like, this sounds familiar, we did talk about Elizabeth Klarer briefly in an episode. Not briefly, it was like a small section. This
Sure.
is like deep dive. So there's a
Oh,
lot of
it's a
new
deep
shit
dive.
coming. So yeah, buckle up.
So last time, a few weeks back, we ended the episode with this tale of Elizabeth Klarer and how she was born in South Africa in 1910, and at the age of 7, while wandering outside her home, witnessed, according to her words, along with her sister who was there, a flying saucer stop a meteor from hitting the planet. Apparently, it was coming right at her.
was it like
Boom! Yeah, well, it just knocked it off course and saved them.
with its self, with its physical self?
I think it, I don't know. I think it like tractor beamed it and pulled it away. At least that's the way she tells it.
Okay.
And then from that moment on, she was obsessed with UFOs, and more importantly, the one that saved her life. She eventually becomes a pilot. She works in the RAF. And at that point in time, while married to her first husband, she sees this UFO again. He sees it. As we talked about last time, they report it. They say they filed reports. There's no evidence that they can find, at least researchers, that these reports were ever filed, but they swear There is an officer named the Chief, who we're not really sure. Last time we tried to figure out who he was, but
the Chief,
he's named the Chief, and he tells her, look, what you're doing is important. And she says, I've been practicing my telepathy in order to try and like communicate with the ship. And he's like, keep doing it. You're important to the future of the world. And that's just a guy who is like, I'm putting you in charge of this thing. And so she does. She trains her mind to reach out to the ship in the hopes, because she's getting bombarded with visions from this ship. And she's like, they're trying to communicate with me, so I want to communicate with them.
I mean, I'd be the same fucking way. If I was having visions from aliens, I don't think I'd go to the hospital. I'd just try and talk to them.
Yeah, then that's what she does. She gets approval from the people in charge of her.
If it's aliens, I know I'm not crazy. If it's anything else, I'm hallucinating. But if it's aliens, it's definitely happening for real.
That makes sense. 100%.
Soon, she finds herself wanting to just leave the world, mostly because a world war is brewing. World War II is on the way, and she's like, I hate this. I don't want to be on Earth. This is terrible. So as she's like studying telepathy, she's reaching out like, what if I could leave? Right. And then we ended with the fact that she at one point hears about a fire in an airplane hangar, and she and her husband go to help put out the fire. An explosion occurs, which, by the way, at this point, and I tried. Either her husband dies in the explosion, or she just stops writing about him and talking about him. I don't know what happens to this man.
She just forgot he was a character in the story.
He's just gone at this point. Mind you, she marries 2 more times, and those other 2 husbands, except for the fact that she has kids with one of them, they're not really featured in this story at all after this point. So this explosion occurs. She's in the hospital, and she has visions of this ship. And it's basically saying like, hey, come out to the wilderness, girl. And so when she gets back to her home, she drinks some tea and has this like urge to go up into the mountains. And when she goes into the mountains, she meets this man and his spaceship, and his name is Akan. Even though it definitely looks like Akon, I think Akon's way funnier. It's Akan.
Like Akon.
Famous Gwen Stefani collaborator, Akon.
Yes. She begins this intergalactic love affair with this man, where he basically is like, hey, I've been watching you since you were a child.
Grooming.
And it's sure it sounds like that, but we'll get to it. Well, don't worry. I've included a bit. It definitely sounds like that. It's like, I was watching you when you were a child. And for me, time is different. So it's like totally super cool. Don't worry about it. And she feels a connection with him. And he's like, I will return to you, and I will take you to my mothership, and we will show you the universe. And she feels a connection to him now. And he's like, I know that you've been trying to reach me, and I know that you're scared, but it's okay. I will return. This is just sort of a meet and greet, a little like our coffee shop date kind of thing up in the hill. And
just checking to see if the arranged marriage is going to work out.
Yeah. He just wanted to check and see what was up.
Nice.
And then between that time and when she like actually leaves to go with this man, she just marries another dude.
Oh man, she must have just must have slipped your mind. Don't you hate when that happens, when you're about to marry someone and then you're like, oh, somebody else asked you to get married, and you're like, yeah, I forgot.
I didn't realize we were on a timer. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
In 1946, she marries Paul Klarer, which is where she gets her last name. Her first husband was William Phillips. He's the guy who saw the UFO with her. And then her last husband, by the way, she marries in 1963.
Imagine
Audrey Fielding.
Imagine being that guy who's there, the first husband, the one that sees the UFO with her, and then she leaves you for that? She's an
that's
alien?
A tale as old as time. That shit happens to dudes all the time. And women, too. If someone swoops in and they're like, I'm your best friend. It's like, you stole my man or whatever.
Oh, dude.
It happens, man.
One of my best friends lost his girlfriend to a boyfriend on a MMO. They met on an MMO, and they had never met in person. She left for him, like an alien. Anyway.
Dude. Sounds a lot like Bill Tompkins, bro.
Oh, fuck. Please, Jesse, continue.
So the last thing he says to her before he leaves is, there's no need for you to say anything. I know everything. I've observed before.
I know everything.
It is a knowledge and understanding that we share, and you now belong to me. It was only necessary for him to wait until she was old enough to understand and have the knowledge of the telepathy and all like the vibrations of the universe. So that's why I was waiting.
I don't like that. I just don't. I got to wait until you're ripe. I got to wait until you're ripe and you're ready. And then, but until then, don't forget me.
He says to her, like, to be one of us, to experience the universe as we do, you have to think like we do. I observed you as a child.
This is love. This is not a creepy one. This is about love.
Yeah. He's like, I observed you as a child with your sister in the garden of your home.
And I chose you between the two of you right then and there.
He's like, in other times, I watched you growing up, flying through the skies looking for me. I watched you while, lightning was crashing in the sky and all. He's like, I've always been here.
When you were sleeping with your husband, I was there watching. I know you were thinking about me.
So since we left off, months have passed in her life since that meeting, right? And ignoring eventually when she marries another man or whatever. But anyway, she then says this. And so for this story, for today, I felt like it would be fun to have my two gentlemen here play Elizabeth and Akan. So Mathas will be Elizabeth. Alex will be Akan, my alien lover.
Easy.
And so
much
Elizabeth
experience.
says this in relation to when eventually she is called back to meet Akan. And this is what she says.
Then one morning I awoke early and knew that he was coming back. I looked through the window into the depths of blue and again sensed the pull of the unknown, the deep and strong call of something beyond the skies of Earth. My heart answered the magnetic pull that touched my mind. The vibration came gently out of the mysterious sky with the south wind, with the tang of the sea wind as it rustled and rippled through the long grasses of the hills, and the cool sea wind bearing the fragrance of mist, a finer entity of minute moisture cells sweeping up over the mountains. This fragrance that I had known and loved through the years now filled my being with a sudden longing to return.
Possession, Calvin Klein.
So already, this is the exact opposite of what we read when Mathas was telling us about like the dude bros being like, look at her tits, bro. Same
as okay. First of all, hold on. That was Alex, right? Not Mathas.
Doesn't matter.
You were the voice actor.
Yeah,
I was
you were
completely innocent.
Yeah,
and honestly, that was Agent Brown's. That was Agent Brown's episode.
No,
I was just presenting.
But like the idea of like the way this is written, the way she describes it is so much more intimate in every detail compared to the guys who were like, I looked at her gams. They went everywhere. And I said, this woman couldn't be from Earth because I want to bang her. Right. And this one's like so detailed. And I just want people to think about that as we go through this, because it is the way she writes. It's so clear that this is definitely to her the greatest love story ever told. It is fantastic. I love everything about it.
She sounds like Tolkien compared to Bill Tompkins.
Yes. So when she arrives at the mountain, she sees the silver spaceship resting on the ground. Besides it is her 6 foot tall, blonde hair, gorgeous man. She runs down the slope, breathless, to get to him. She's like, literally, it is a movie scene. The way she describes it, she said that she leapt into his arms and he swung her about.
Do you think Akon ever got hit in the face with like a goose or anything while he was on a roller coaster?
No. So this is the conversation they have at their very first meeting, because again, he is a little psychic. So the A is Akan, that's Alex, and the M, of course, is Mathas.
Not afraid this time.
I have known your face within my heart all my life.
I'm not from any place on this planet called Earth.
That's the conversation. That's
amazing.
It's just so natural.
Connection.
I see the chemistry is like electric.
I can feel it.
He carries her onto the spaceship and sets her down on a soft circular bench. Nearby, by the way, in the documentary, it's not in her book, but in the documentary, they describe this room as being like red carpeted. but she doesn't say it in the book, but they describe it as like red carpeting. But anyway, he puts her down on a circular bench, and nearby, another dude is at a control panel, and he gives her like a smile and a nod. And she's like, he was very attractive too.
Girl, relax.
You're going to like this. Trust me. I can run over 20 miles per hour.
He's like, his eyes are like half closed as he's saying that.
My favorite color is red. Hello.
So,
everybody's so attractive on the ship.
I prefer Sega to Nintendo. Great to see you.
She describes the situation like this for Mathas.
Yeah. I inhaled sharply. The shiny circular walls of the cabin were sealed, unlike my legs. Covers closed over the portholes with a sudden movement, and there was no trace left of them either. They were just the smooth walls, illuminated with a soft glowing light as natural as daylight on the surface of a planet. The whole girl hasn't even left Earth yet, and she's describing it on the surface of a planet, like she's seen other planets. The whole cabin was lit with this soft, reflected light.
You know?
Yeah. The effect of it was light without shadows, and I saw no wiring or cables. Fresh, invigorating air filled the cabin, and I breathed in a higher oxygen content, immediately feeling the benefit from it. A gentle humming sound came from the ship, accompanied by a slight vibration. There was no sense of movement, but I knew we were rising slowly into the air. In that moment of wonder, I glanced at the pilot, who sat at a simple control panel composed of push buttons. Dude, I'd be immediately nauseous, I feel like. If I was her. If I knew we were moving, but I felt no sense of moving, it's like VR, dude. I'd be like throwing up.
I kind of like the idea.
From Venus.
I kind of like the idea that like it is very similar. You know, it's a white thing and it's very bright. It kind of hits the vibe of all the other alien stuff. But then again, this book's from 1980, so she should just be like, I copied all that. Whatever the case may be.
She could literally watch the movie. Yeah, like at this point. Yeah.
So she sits next to her alien dreamboat. And he says to her, and this is for Alex, which this is, I think, the first time he says his name to her.
My name is Akan. I am a scientist, and my research takes me to many planets beyond our home system. Sharon, who greeted you as we came in, is my pilot, and he is also a scientist. Our home system is beyond, far beyond, this small star with its family of planets. We come from a double star system.
I'll keep that in mind for later, because he will bring up some details.
I think Betty and Barney Hill, Betty also was shown a map of where they came from, and I believe it also was a double star system, a binary star system. I'd have to double check my facts, but I think it's also similar.
Now, when I tell you that while reading Beyond the Light Barrier, I kept thinking about, like, you know, the way this woman describes their relationship. It gets like, she talks about the details of this ship and everything she does, and I can't have you guys read it. It's too much. It's like pages and pages. It's like George R.R. Martin level of stuff.
Brian Jakes talking about food at Redwall.
Yes, it's just so much. So please, by all means, if you want to get like hyper descriptive, go read that book. Anyway, she goes on to describe some stuff, and I wanted to include this. This is for Mathas again. This is just some more descriptors, this time of Akan.
With wonder, I looked into his eyes, those fantastic, compelling eyes. I was fascinated by his strong and fine appearance, tall and strikingly handsome, with a force of character unknown to me. Apparently, he was past middle age in her estimate, but a stunning man, with straight blonde hair back behind his ears, gray eyes, and golden skin. He wore a silver suit that covered everything but his face and hands, but did have the coverings if needed.
Yeah, so he just, like, I guess, took off his gloves and mask. And the reason why is he's like, your son sucks. It is a bad son. And we'll get into why later.
Your son sucks.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Like, it's part of his backstory, which is insane, and I kind of love it. As a sci-fi story, this rules. As a real ufology thing, I have no clue. But sci-fi, this rocks, and I'm here for it. So she is trying to think of, like, what the hell do I tell this man? She is struck by his beauty in a way that she's worried she'll say something stupid or be weird or not understand what he's trying to say to her. She's got, like, 50,000 things in her head at once. and she's trying to communicate with this guy. And he just jumps in with another conversation for you two.
I love you as you are. You are now one of us. There's no need for you to say anything. I know everything. I have observed you before. It is a knowledge and understanding that we share, and you now belong to me. It was only necessary for me to wait until you had grown up in this knowledge and understanding. To be one of us, you must think as we do. I observed you first when you were a child, with your sister in the garden of your home in the valley adjoining the hill. At other times, I watched you growing up, flying through the skies of earth looking for me. And I watched while the lightning high in the sky wrapped you with its purifying flame to make you mine.
It has been a lifetime for me, I whispered back, gathering me into his arms. He kissed me on the lips. A magical electric current seemed to fuse us together in an eternity of ecstasy. And this is a horny book. In that, I forgot how horny this book was, dude. It's crazy. In that moment, I knew that the art of love was of the mind and soul, not only of the body. Smiling at my thoughts, he put his hands gently under my chin, tilting my head back and looking deep into my eyes.
We rarely mate with earth women, but when we do, we keep the offspring to strengthen our race and infuse new blood.
And immediately, if I were her, I'd be like, red flag. Hang on. What do you mean?
That's basically the plot of Superman 225 right there.
Yeah, you know.
So in this first date, I guess, they proceed to have this really romantic space flight as they look up at the ceiling, and it becomes transparent, and she's now able to see all of Earth as they zoom away from it. In her words, she calls it a real magic carpet ride. And so he takes her into the stars, and he shows her all of our solar system. And she, of course, must describe it in her very verbose way. And this, again, is for Mathas because I'm loving this already.
Earth showed her veiled face to us, floating in space, her delicate blueness lightly shrouded in white clouds swirling in wind patterns. She rotated smoothly, her rounded sides moving over. The polar caps glistened white, the southern polar region large and pronounced, and the northern cap smaller, but with a beauty of shifting, pulsating colors like a banner reaching into space. Her bulging waistline rotated about her flattened pose like a fat apple with a heavy base. The enormous power and energy of her being filled the whole viewing lens, her night side moving over into the sun side in a slow, smooth rotation.
It's so horny.
It's super horny, and it's ever so slightly repetitive. She uses kind of the same descriptive words over and over again.
It's just all like she's kind of just like talking about sex all the time.
Because she's horned up. She's describing Earth in like a horny way because she's horned up for this man.
She walked in and even looked at the pilot and was yes, please. And yes, please. And oh, yes, I'll take him too.
You horned up.
Also, she describes, I meant to mention this, the way she describes them are very typical of the Nordic style of aliens. Tall, blonde, golden skin. It's Nordics.
Yes. Just to remind you too, here's a photo of Akan. Or not a photo, I'm sorry. A drawing of Akan.
I was gonna say, an interpretation of our dearest man. I forgot. He looks like
this is as close as you can get to representing me with visual light.
This man, I don't know how you look.
How would you describe him? Yeah, how would you describe Akan to be?
James Bond villain, like the final guy at the end of a James Bond.
He looks
Christoph
like Grand
Waltz.
Moff Tarkin is what he looks like.
Christoph Waltz at the end of the movie Spectre. Full on.
This is Elizabeth Klarer at one point in her life. Not when she was younger, but a little later.
She's looking a little sultry in this picture. I gotta say.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
She lived a sultry life at this point.
She's got like this, like a knowing smile is the best way I can describe it.
That's the face of like, you'll never know what I know.
Yeah, like I've been to space and seen some things.
Humans cannot compare.
Seen some things.
So they move away from Earth, and as they do, the walls change color and are no longer a viewport. And her mind starts racing a mile a minute because now she's like, oh my God, I'm in space with strange men. And yeah, okay, a minute ago I was super horny, but at this point, she has married her second husband and already has kids with him. So she's thinking in her mind, oh my God, what happens to my children? And because she's like, I just left. And Akan speaks up because he read her mind.
They're old enough to take care of themselves. You're mine now.
Akan speaks up and he says this, Alex.
There is no need to be nervous. We are proceeding to our mothership, where you will be our guest for a short period before we escort you back to the hill on which we found you. I know what is best for you and will always look after you, my beloved.
He's very, very possessive. I think he's very creepy.
Now, I need to stress to everyone who does not have a girlfriend or wife or know a woman who reads like romantasy fiction, but this is strong. Like a lot of those are like dude shows up and he's like, you're mine now. It's crazy, dude. So just put it out there. This is a big trope. So her response to this, Mathas, is,
I had known the truth of it in my heart long before hearing it from his own lips, when in years gone by I had gazed into the depths of blue with a longing I could not then define. Now I knew the reason for my longing, and why my whole being had always been aware of someone, of an affinity of souls and a love to be fulfilled with wondrous anticipation and awe. I knew now that, through the years, he had prepared my mind for this eternal love, this love of a man and a woman.
So she is so in love with this man that she's willing to forsake all of, like, everyone back on Earth. She's like, this guy and I, we are destined to be together.
Good. It's really healthy.
Yeah. It's very much the same thing as the end of Titanic. She dies and then is like back with Leo, but like, what happened to her husband and kids, man? Whatever. There's a lot of questions here.
That's like just like a paltry life that she lived. You know, it's not the one she wanted. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what this is. So now she's in the spaceship with this dude headed back to his place, the mothership. And it's at this time, as they fly towards the mothership, that she's hit with the same thing that, you know, every single one of the I got taken by or communicated with alien stories that we cover. As she looks back at Earth, and then all this gorgeous tech around her and the sleekness and the sexy, sexy dudes in the ship, she's overcome with this awareness that lasts many pages about like how kind of pathetic humans are with our petty quarrels and viciousness and selfishness. And she's like, we kind of all suck. We ruin Earth. We ruin each other. And she looks at this map of the Milky Way that's in their ship, and she sees that we're kind of like out in the boonies. And she's like, there's so many stars and so many worlds and so many peoples, and we're just one of them. How dare we think we're special? Finally, they reach the mothership. And she says it's suspended like a planet with the sun casting a glow on one side, but the other side is dark facing away from it. She doesn't really describe the mothership. It's just really large and has like a dark side like the moon. And it's between us and the sun.
When you say it has a dark side like the moon, you literally mean that one half of it is permanently bathed in darkness?
That's what she's saying, yes.
What? Okay.
It's just a big, like almost, I would say, sphere thing, but she doesn't really describe it all that well. And she doesn't say how long it took them to actually get to it. She just says they arrived. So I have no clue.
What is interesting before you move on is when she describes like getting into space and suddenly like everything on Earth seems stupid and silly and small. There is a known effect astronauts do go through called the overview effect. That is happened to William Shatner too when he went into space. Is like when something like psychologically, when you get into space and you see Earth like as it is, your brain just is like, oh, yeah, something just like how small we are.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. Like, I think it seems like a trope at this point for all space movies and books or whatever, but like it is a thing that happens and it's something that we talk about often on this. So she finally turns to ask him some questions because she has plenty. And this is their conversation. And boy, oh boy, I'm going to break it down because poor Alex, what he says, man. All right. This is how it begins.
Have you been out into intergalactic space?
We will need to perfect our spaceship still more for a voyage of that nature. We are now preparing it, enlarging our scientific survey ships like this one. As you've noticed, this ship is shaped like a galaxy. And once we have perfected the larger spaceships, which vary in diameter, we will be able to move through intergalactic space. Our intergalactic ship is exactly twice the diameter of this one, or twice the harmonic. And we are still creating still larger spaceships for interstellar and intergalactic vibratory changes in the unified field. Circular ships of this type are a duplication of nature. They take their environment with them like a natural celestial object.
How are these spaceships created? They are not just constructed in a building yard, then?
And then for Alex, good luck, man. Enjoy.
Holy fuck.
No, not on the surface of a planet. Our spaceships are created by converting pure energy into physical substance, and we do this in space. The material of the spaceship's outer skin is completely smooth, without rivets. The material is created in one piece in a continuously circular, smooth shape. The radius of the curvature transforms the total mass of the spaceship's outer skin into a combination of matter and antimatter, as the atomic creation of the outer skin is conducive to energizing in alternate pulses. This is achieved when the entire system is switched on by pressing that red button on the panel. A unified field of light instantly encircles the spaceship, an electrogravitic field that acts on all parts simultaneously, including the atoms of one's body. These field differentials interact to create a vacuum that encircles the spaceship, and it shifts without the restriction of speed and without sound in the atmosphere of a planet. The light emanating from the ship is subject to varying time and gravitic waves, either shortened or lengthened. All radiations and molecules are pushed aside in varying speeds and quantities to emit light, and the difference in speeds is perceived by the eye as colors. These microatoms of light form an electrostatic shield around this interstellar survey ship, a ship of light. A light thrust of 3 beams controls and directs its maneuverability and harmonic interaction. The whole is a combination of cosmic forces, electric, magnetic, tempic, and resonating. It is the harmonic interaction of the 4 forces of the universe, the unified field. Natural celestial object. This ship protects her crew as a planet would, taking its environment with it through the fathomless reaches of space. I feel like I just watched like a Doctor Who improv scene. Like I feel like somebody just totally, like when you have that, you know what side talking is, where people just do and you're like, did you say something? Like that's how I feel right now. I feel like I just said something.
And I'm the love-struck companion who's just doughy-eyed looking at the doctor.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Can we take me to 1918, please?
She is, just getting science dumped right now. Like watching a Star Trek episode where they just rattle off some information and you just have to accept it's real. That's kind of what's happening. And he goes on, and I'm going to spare Alex from the next 4 pages of this book. He goes on to describe in great detail how their tempic or time field helps maneuver the spaceship from one time field to another, vibrating on various frequencies that emanate from the skins, like the ship's skin. As the field intensifies, the ship becomes invisible, looking to the naked eye like either heat waves or a cloud, depending on how much vibration is going on.
What? Okay.
So I think that's supposed to be the explanation for why we wouldn't see it on Earth. Is that
he describing
they're messing with time, like they're messing with the field of time around the ship.
Yeah, it's like,
are they like quantum superpositioning the ship? Is like kind of
we'll explain that in a sec because he actually gets into it. He says the ship itself has such high heat resistance and minimal friction that it has 0 stress limits on speed or velocity or changing that. The ship itself is very light, but extremely strong. And he said that's also why when it lands, it doesn't leave a trace, really, because it's such a light ship, which makes me think that the wind could just blow it away, which is really funny. But because the ship's skin it pushes away molecules, when it lands, wind would just go around it, if that makes any sense.
Wind would go like blow as if it wasn't there?
Well, because it has no friction.
Right.
So it would just kind of like...
If I remember correctly, electrogravitic like studies is real. Something they've been looking into since the 1950s.
This is exactly what what's his name was looking into.
This is what
Bill
makes
Tompkins.
her stories, and I think you're saying for similar reasons. Like this is what makes her story interesting is that the things Akan does describe are sort of kind of actually explainable by science, which is very bizarre for someone. But she's also like.
Again, this book was written in the 80s, so there's still time that she could have just read a bunch of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
But a lot of what's being said and will be said in this, you're like, oh, interesting. Which either means it's real, which I don't believe, or it's incredibly good sci-fi, which I love. You know, as a skeptic, I'm like, this can't be real. But I do enjoy it. It's well researched.
So the other thing, this is what I was trying to remember too. The other thing she's describing is loosely a theory that came in the 90s called the Alcubierre drive, which is a theoretical faster than light propulsion concept proposed by physicist Miguel Alcubierre in 1994, which manipulates space-time by contracting it in front of a spacecraft and expanding it behind it based on Einstein's field equations.
Oh, that's like in some book. That's in like some sci-fi book or something.
But that came 14 years after this book, like as a scientific like theory, which is again interesting because what Akan is describing can loosely be understood as that.
Yeah, he also says that the ship, the shielding of the ship, in some way also wards off. So like if they land, again, going back to the wind thing, if they land on Earth and like they're out in the woods and an animal walks up to the ship, what happens? Well, apparently the ship itself is designed to, like the shielding wards off animals. When they get close to it, they get freaked out and run away.
It also kind of would describe, if that's true, at least for some of these ships, when humans have interactions with these ships, shit gets weird. They feel off. Some of them actually do leave. Some of them have totally different understandings.
You know what I mean?
It's an electromagnetic kind of like warp bubble around it that fucks with how your brain interacts with and interprets reality around you.
Yeah. And she asked him like, okay, cool. Because again, she has some scientific background. She's a pilot. She's asking him things about flight and all sorts of stuff. She's like, well, how do you travel through space? What's it? And he tells her, and this is super interesting, and this is for Alex, and I would love to know what you guys think of this, because I was like, oh?
If it's like this, okay, well, we'll see. All of creation is light, which is the key to the universe. The whole of existence throughout the planetary systems, the stars and the depths of interstellar space, is made up of visible and invisible waves of light. To the seen and unseen, to all energy, substance, liquids, gases, and all life, the release of microatoms of light from oxygen is the source of all life. The electromagnetic waveform, or light, forms the building blocks of the cosmos in which we have our being, as microatoms of light in greater unities are equal to atoms. Light is an intelligent energy that can be thought to exist into existence and substance, like the Green Lantern, I guess. The pattern of the microatoms of light alters with changing thoughts when one achieves the formula for the harmonic vibration of light. The key to all life and the universe lies in the harmonic interaction of light. A mathematical formula for all transportation lies in the vibratory frequencies of the light harmonic, with anti-gravity waves and time waves, which are simply the frequency rate between each pulse of the spiral of light. By controlling this frequency rate, the flow of time can be varied, and one simply moves within one's environment, within the protection of the spaceship, instantaneously from one planet to another, or one solar system to another. Time, the geometric, is controlled or eliminated.
Again, it's very poetic and like extremely overwordy, but he is describing quantum field, like like at a quantum level, everything is dictated by the interaction of photons between quantum atoms. Like it is quite literally the universe is at a quantum level light in a very fundamental way. I get a very basic, simplified way. And that's what's interesting.
That's kind of vibey. That's kind of vibey.
He is saying like he quote unquote could be just her because again she is educated in science, scientists and stuff. But like she is describing essentially that.
Yeah, it's fascinating that he just drops on her like we are all luminous beings, very Yoda-esque.
You're like, oh, whoa, all right.
And she's like, yeah, and that's how we travel. We travel by light. We basically use light to get around because everything is light. And if everything's light, then you can be kind of here and then over there because you're light. And so she asks what, he's talking about when he says, time as a geometric is controlled or eliminated. And so she says,
yeah, and the speed of light, is that also a geometric?
We speak of the measure of light, not of the speed of light. Light gives the illusion of velocity when in reality is a pulse, resonating in the frequencies of time and gravity. Thereby, our galaxy is created to the universal geometric harmonics of light. Light is a universal geometric. Time and gravity, or a reversal in the flow of time and anti-gravity, can be achieved by altering the energy of light pulsing through space, through the atmosphere of planets, and throughout all creation, as microatoms of light form the atoms of all gases, liquids, and solids. Hologram universe. Bang. Simulation.
Damn, dude. Matrix.
Yeah, no,
Super
it's
real.
very much that. Like, it's also like another like physicist theories that like we see light moving, but only because it's through our own understanding of space time. But if light is always, again, yeah, it's holographic theory, it's block universe theory that like everything, there is no past, present, future. It all exists now, and our consciousness is just kind of sliding through it linearly. This is a I don't know. I love this shit. Like it's one of those conversations I could have forever that lead to nowhere.
Right. Yeah. We just don't have the knowledge. We don't have the fundamental, like we aren't out there in it. We're stuck back on the egg. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So he goes on to say that, we on Earth have to deal with friction. And that's why our designs for flight and travel are, we're constrained. And
we blow things up.
Yeah. He's like, if you could learn to push molecules aside as we do, you would be frictionless. And then you could travel through space like we do. That's how we do it.
I'm just
which is
thinking
interesting
of Frank Reynolds.
He's not saying and
smooth, slippery,
it's gotta be smooth. But he says essentially like, look, we are advanced. We're advanced as shit, but only because we figured out a few key things that you guys simply haven't. And more importantly, we're still working on trying to get to another galaxy. We aren't even there yet. We can't be intergalactic, but we are interstellar. We are in our solar system doing our stuff, but we can't go. It's just not, we're not ready for it. But like, if you guys could get to where we're at, you would see everything so differently and you would have such a better existence and better time in our universe.
He's poetically also like doing, again, a lot of stuff he's saying unnecessarily, like convolutedly, but he's also like implying that antimatter is matter moving backwards in time. Like that's also part of it, which is like a weird, I think that's a physicist thing, like a potential theory of what.
I have no idea, bro. That is like, what did you say? Gravity moving backwards in time, bro? What does that even mean?
Antimatter moving backwards in time. Is matter moving backwards in time? Yeah, antimatter is like moving.
Reversed entropy?
That sounds like a Star Trek plot.
Like tennis.
Because I think he's also like explaining time isn't just linearly forward. It's the idea, as Jesse said, as Alex said, holographic universe theory, block theory. Like if we can just understand that time, we can structure flow. It's a structure. Then we can start moving forward.
It's like a train station.
We only understand time conceptually in the way we get it, which is time is linear. But
time's arrow.
Now that we're getting into the part of, pop culture where we talk a lot about like black holes and wormholes and stuff, more and more people are open to the idea that like, if I were to travel to another solar system at the speed of light, I would be still the same age. By the time I returned, you'd all be dead.
Yep.
And that that's like how time works is we perceive it personally.
Unless, like, again, if you're leaving the planet and you are moving without time understanding, you could leave and then come back in an hour and you would have been gone for like 10 years, but it only been an hour for us because you're sitting outside of time.
Yeah. And that plays a role in this. We'll get to that. So she asks him, like, okay, let me see if I understand what you're saying here.
Like the tunnel or ionized path that lightning creates and uses as a channel through the air from ground to cloud?
My beloved, it can be a duplication of nature. If we can find all the answers to atmospheric and space travel within the simplicity of nature, so could humankind of Earth find these answers.
So he's kind of hyping, like, yeah, you guys could. You're not that different from us. You can do this.
Of cool stuff. You must get on the right level and chill the fuck out like us.
That's honestly his whole thing. Yes, completely.
Then you can be fucking cool space guys and get on this PP.
I mean, he says, he literally, the next whole bunch of the book is like, he talks about how the harmony between body and mind and nature is the whole point. And it all must work together. And that's the kind of thing that is holding us back from being on their level, which is why it took him so long to talk to her. And again, this goes back to the whole grooming thing that Mathas was saying. He says, the reason when I saw you when you were 7, because time doesn't have anything to do with me. I didn't see you as a 7-year-old. I saw your entire life.
He's like Dr. Manhattan.
He's like,
I was already kissing you on your 18th birthday when I saw you at 7 years old. And there really isn't that much time between the two of them if you think about it.
And he's like, I knew what your life was going to be. I knew who you were. And I was helping you unlock this power. That's why I was coming to you in visions. I was trying to get you to unlock your psychic potential, because that's the connection that we can have and that all humans should have, is you should be one with each other.
They always fuck it up though, man. They always like, I'm just trying to unlock your potential. How? Vague visions? How am I supposed to unlock my potential by not knowing what you want from me? What do you mean? That makes no sense.
In this case, I think it was because she went to the chief, who was like, you got to keep doing this, kid. Because she was like, what does this even mean? Why am I doing this? And that guy, who I'm convinced at this point was probably one of the aliens, who was like, it's up to you. But I don't know.
It's up to you.
So he's like, I needed you to be ready to meet me, to understand the universe, to actually be able to experience reality with me. And they continue on for some time talking about like mankind's potential. And he straight up says things like, your politicians are destroying your world, which, yeah, okay. Like, all right.
Klaatu, Nikto, Baradum.
I'm so sick. Can the aliens please come up with a new message? We all know this already.
Yeah.
Please do something. Either do something about it or shut the fuck up.
No, you must do it.
Show me what you got.
Eventually, they dock with the mothership. And the way she describes it, so like, again, the ship is barely described, but he says it looks kind of like a galaxy, which I just imagine is flat,
like an octopus? Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, like a UFO?
Like a giant mothership. And in my mind, the best way I could think of it is, in Independence Day, when the mothership like drops the other little ships.
Yes.
That's kind of like how I imagine they dock. Is that he's basically they connect to the outside of the mothership. And she finally asks, like, what are we doing here? And I just thought this was such a funny interaction. I had to include it for you two.
Am I to be scientifically examined too?
My dear, enough.
My man was like, enough questions. Get on my shit, girl.
Dude,
like, that's crazy.
Like, you are annoying me.
Yeah, get on.
But are you gonna take a tool and like
shut up?
Yeah, but are you gonna
shut up? Get on.
Okay.
So he picks her up and carries her in his arms to a door that just kind of slides open into the mothership. And he puts her down in the center of a group of people. And one of them, a woman, looks at her and says, she has slant eyes and golden hair. She is a descendant of our original stock we left on Earth. Another man approaches, grabs Akan, and he says, welcome home, dear brother. And his name is Haben, and he's Akan's brother.
Welcome. You get introduced to the family, dude.
Yeah.
Is this the child you told us you were grooming? I mean, waiting to become of age.
We saw her so long ago and yet so recently, brother.
They guide her to this spacious room with glowing illuminated panels. And she says the air was so fresh, it felt like being outdoors. And there's these sapphire walls that she said reminded her of the depth of sky. There's exotic trees strewn about. The entire floor, she said, was covered in a wealth of soft blue grass. They sit down to eat. I guess he invited her home for dinner. They sit down to eat, and to her surprise, a golden tray of delicious salads and fruits appears in front of her, just poof, exists, along with long-stemmed crystals containing a golden juice, which she described thusly for Mathas.
The fruit juice was simply lovely, with a flavor of ripe pomegranates. The salads consisted of delicate bright green leaves and various cut vegetables mixed with crisp nuts, flavored with almonds and spices with a creamy dressing sprinkled over. Crisp, juicy fruits like large apricots and thin slices of moist, fresh oat bread completed the most delicious meal I had ever had.
Honestly, it doesn't sound bad. I don't know how they have space apricots, but it sounds good.
It literally sounds like Redwall at this point. I was joking earlier. Now we're just fully there. This is just literally Redwall.
This is a lot of this book, because you think I'm going to read this awesome romance. A lot of this book is this guy imparting knowledge on her in almost a fatherly way, which is a little creepy.
It's weird because it does come off sometimes of being wait, did something like this maybe happen? Because this is not as romancy as I thought. The guy genuinely does a lot of typical alien things of being the typical messages, imparting knowledge as to how all this works. And it's just wait, hang on. This reeks of familiarity in abduction cases.
He is dropping lore bombs on her, and every reaction she's doughy-eyed, super again, it feels very romantic, where it's the Raven Lord kidnapped me, but now I'm in love with him, and the Raven, and it's what? It's straight up Twilight or any of those books where it's this tough man from space took me away and made passionate love to me, and I fell in love. I realized he was the one for me. It's same vibe.
But you have children. My children will be fine.
They'll be okay. They have their father.
Fine.
They then proceed to, and the way she describes it just sounds like wall scrolls, but they move.
Yep.
And they watch life on Earth. And he tells her, this is how we watched you. This is how we watch everyone. And I don't know if these are videos or live feeds. I don't know. But she's oh, I know that place. And I know that place. He's yes, we've been watching you for some time.
Yeah.
Betty and Barney Hill. Well, Barney had a terrible time. Betty Hill had an experience where she was abducted and she was shown weird moving holographic things that showed her the history of Earth and stuff like that. The woman we covered prior, which her whole family got frozen in place. She was shown the glowing Bible and stuff. Yeah. And it is, again, similar line that runs through things they see that is weirdly, from a perspective can be seen as being interpreted by their lens of understanding. The person from before had the Bible, and the Bible made sense to her, and she got her own book that she got to keep for a week that she got to read from. And Betty got weird, holographic, slabs. She's getting scrolls, but they're all serving the same purpose.
Yeah.
And it's fucking weird.
Bizarre.
I think it's fascinating because it absolutely has the vibe of either she did research before she started writing, or maybe something happened. I don't know. But I love the idea of this. And it's very entertaining.
A nutty story.
So as they sit there watching,
nuts.
She asks about, their home planet. She's okay, this is Earth, but what's going on in your world? And he literally just is I'll have to take you one day.
When am I going to meet your parents?
He's girl, I got you. I'll take you one day, but not today. And he holds her. And for the first time, she feels like she belongs somewhere. And then he whispers what I want to say is game, but also is
this guy
he's always been doing, just lore bombing her.
Yeah,
and so
everything
Alex,
he says is game to her.
This is him putting on some game.
Some game. Here we go. Love is a force, a being that needs understanding. Love is the electric force of life, the very breath and essence of life. Love is the flame of eternal beauty. Love is wonderful. And by love, one achieves supreme happiness. People who cannot love become spiritually and physically ill. Not for them the riches of the soul. They live contrary to its laws, thereby misunderstanding the true meaning of love and how it is food and life to the soul. Love needs to manifest within, to radiate outward, encompassing all within its radiating field as the star of our system encircles the inner planets within its vast corona. To love all things is to enfold oneself within this magnetic field of positive existence, to commune and become one with nature and live in harmony with the universe. One is alerted to the pulse of life and answers stream into the brain, telling us what to do and how to live. Once we are tuned to the pulse of life, we move in harmonic rhythm with our galaxy and the universe, and there's no need for hate, dissension. People on Earth do not understand this, and the fair lands of Earth are swept by the mass insanity of its peoples. The average human being on Earth does not live long enough to attain great understanding and wisdom. Ignorance and fear still remain. Fear from which hate and wars breed. It is your environment that breeds the impassive cruelty that manifests itself in human nature. Mankind's ego has always been bolstered up with the idea that his must be the only advanced and civilized race in the galaxy. Humankind is a creature of space. Humanity is a space race, living on a planet in orbit around a star as others are also doing. Mankind is not unique, as he so fondly imagines.
Yeah, that's not spitting game as much as it's like, let me explain why you're not special and why you're all a bunch of kind of morons because you have a short lifespan.
No, dude, he absolutely.
I'd fuck that guy.
Like he does like a compliment sandwich kind of situation.
Yeah.
But he's also negging her a little bit.
Whole.
He's like, your people aren't all that special.
You're stupid little baby people. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that he also implies the reason is humans don't live long enough. Like our lifespan isn't long enough to reach the point where we're like, oh, a lot of this shit is so pointless. And I could kind of see that. Like a lot of like when people get really old is when they realize like as they're on death's door, and maybe it's because death is right there. But it takes something like that to shock you into realizing, oh shit, everything I thought I gave a shit about was actually meaningless. And the whole point was to be with people I care about and enjoy life. And I think I heard in once like meditation, I think it's midnight mass, right? Meditation is a practice in preparing. Midnight gospel is totally different. Yeah. Meditation is a practice in preparing for death. And the idea of like eliminating the ego and understanding that all these things that you worry about are literally pointless. And it is a fascinating point to be like, yeah, humans just don't live long enough to figure this shit out. Like they just are not living. But then you can't be mad at us, bro, because if that's the reason, stop shitting on us. It's not our fault. Help.
He loves to shit on mankind. That's a thing that he will continue to do.
And that's why we're never moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I think
it's but it's also the other fascinating thing in real life. What is it? The 80-year cycle that humanity tends to repeat tragedies and like same crimes against ourselves in 80 years because the people who lived through it the first time who stopped it, built all the systems to stop it, die, pass away. It only becomes stories to us younger ones. That's why we're living through like stupid fucking Hitler too. Like it's the dumb version of it because all the people who lived to fight against fascism and stop it like in where we lived are now gone, and the propaganda works on uneducated people.
Yeah. It's very interesting, when you talk about length of life and the way people change. Everyone, except for the most absolutely like broken people, everyone is different from who they were at 10 or 20 or 30. The more you age, even at like 40, you look back at your 20s and go, yikes, dude.
I feel like 40 is when you finally like come online. Maybe.
Yeah.
It really does feel like that because there's parts of you that you have to let like die as you grow up. If you're somebody who's open to changing and like growing and being, allowing yourself to be wrong,
you kind of have to make fuck ups.
You have to make fuck ups and then make the really fucking hard decisions that almost feel like you're killing a version of yourself to have a better future that you don't have yet. And like, then you look back after you're through with that and you're like, oh, I'm not that person is.
It seems so dramatic and important then too. Like if I make this change, everything about like, no, man, you just made a better life choice. And X number of years later, you look back and you're like, oh, no, that was really stupid
that.
I thought that would work out, or that would, like, absolutely.
But it's true. Like, yeah, I wonder another 100 years tacked onto our life, what that would look like in terms of just like who we would be philosophically as a people.
I promise you it would be different. Going back to the 80-year thing you're talking about, if all the World War II vets were still alive, they would be furious.
Yeah.
Like, none of this would happen. The world would not be like, things would 100% be different. Just simply like, if all of this
would still be alive. Like,
we should have made them into AIs of themselves faster. We could have learned from them, kept them around.
Yeah.
But I do love that point. And again, like, I know he's spitting game in a weird way, but it's weird what he's saying, because it is just similar messages from different weirdly non-human intelligences.
He's right,
Yeah, the Greys show up. He's right.
He's right. He's quite right.
So he goes on to warn her that, if we don't change our ways, terrible things are going to happen, and that calamities happen in our solar system all the time. And this is where I was like, oh, yes, we're in the kind of sci-fi I love.
We're just going to get full on lore now.
He says to her that our sun, the reason why they left, I should start with, his people are originally from Venus. That's their mother world.
Oh, shit. Yep. Okay.
That's the same as Valiant Thor, who looks kind of similar to what these guys supposedly look like.
If Valiant Thor was had early Empire vibes, then early Galactic Empire vibes. Yeah.
But he was a Venusian supposedly as well.
He got that Venusi. Sorry.
Venus
everyone.
Was a world that was populated. And this is kind of around the time when Earth was still goop and primordial soup. Right? There's not much happening on Earth.
Soup Earth?
Goop and soup Earth.
Soup world?
Earth. And they're on Venus. And what they discover is that our singular sun apparently creates cyclical, I don't know how to describe this. There's a cyclical nature to every planet in our solar system, and it goes through changes.
So he says, to Sol?
Essentially, Jupiter, for example, will one day become a sun. Okay. He says that, Venus was once an inhabited planet, and now it's kind of like a wasteland.
I see.
He says that Mars was one of their big colonies, and now it's not. And originally what happened is, as the sun was messing with their stuff, because he says we didn't destroy our world, it was destroyed by the solar system and the cycles here. But Mars, he isn't really sure about. He makes it seem like maybe there was an accident or something happened on Mars. But what he does say is most of the people on Venus left to go into the stars and find a new home, because they were we need to find a place where the suns are stable enough that we don't have this weird ass cycle that is caused by our sun.
So they are at one with the fact that there are cycles, but they still don't want to die from them.
Right. They were let's get out of here. But the people on Mars, because Mars was still habitable and still great, they stayed. And so it was just people left, some people stayed, and some people moved to this now very early on Earth. And they were the first Earth-like people, right? So that, timeline-wise, I would assume post-dinosaurs is when they did this.
Yeah, I guess.
No, wait, dude, I've seen the movies during dinosaurs.
Right. I've seen the Flintstones. And so this makes Elizabeth...
Flintstones is soft disclosure, so sorry.
Yeah, no, this makes Elizabeth extremely excited. Elizabeth's oh my God, these aliens really are just our galactic neighbors, and they're proto-humans. They're basically us, which is why they're so beautiful and handsome. It's that kind of trope of we're the devolved grunguses of those beautiful humans that once existed.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Their new world is in Alpha Centauri.
How perfect.
And he comments that it would take 4 years by light speed as humans understand it to reach this world. But for his people, travel is instantaneously. He says it's a binary star system, but there's another star that they use mostly. And so it's technically a triple system
that they use mostly.
Yeah. So his planet's closer to the single star, but there's two other much bigger stars.
What do they use it for?
To live, I guess.
I'm assuming I'm imagining it's that outer star is orbiting the two bigger stars, and it's probably smaller in some way. And then their planet is stuck in the gravitational pull of that one.
Well, you can look this up because we'll get to it in a sec. You can actually kind of look stuff up. So
That's the weird part.
He says that there are 7 planets in total, all of them inhabited now because they've terraformed and done stuff. But it took them a long time to find it, which is why those on Mars stayed behind and some went on to eventually settle on Earth. Eventually, he's like, look, this has been fun. I'm going to take you home now. I hope you enjoyed this little trip to the mothership. And she's like, what do you mean?
You're not even going to tell me why Mars needs moms?
Yeah, they aren't even doing it. There's no intergalactic lovemaking. Instead, she just feels a connection between the two of them at like an atomic level. Like they are connected forever. They would go on to have adventures on horse. I'm going to skip through the middle part of the book because it is straight up like a spy novel. It's crazy.
Did you say a horse?
They have horseback adventures on Earth. They frolic in the hills and meadows. He learns more about her. She learns more about his people. Their love deepens. Now, during this time period, if you're wondering, like, what happened to her, like, kids and family, she just tells them. She goes back and says, like, yo, I went to space with my space boyfriend.
Sorry about that. And they're cool with it.
And we'll come back to that later because she apparently, like, leaves her kids all the time.
Okay.
And it's also during this part of the book where it kind of gets into thriller territory, where there's straight up like a Russian dude trying to like find and capture the spaceship. There's French Air Force guys who are like, one day we shall find it.
Why is this like turning into a Muppet movie, dude?
It is pure Twilight drama at this point. It's very weird. But we're all here for the sex. Lines. We're all here for the space romance. So we'll get back to that. So one night during a thunderstorm, she's covered in rain, of course.
Oh, so slick.
Yeah.
Of course.
And he shows up and whisks her away, takes her inside the ship. She removes her clothes in this private room. It's all soaking wet. And a bathtub appears before her, and it begins to fill with green foaming water. She says that when she got in the water, some of it got in her mouth, and she said it tasted salty and minerally. And she was convinced it must contribute in some way to their long life. But she said she didn't need soap or anything because I guess the properties of the water were soapy enough that she like scrubbed herself down.
She got all that from a bath?
From a bath. Then she gets out of the bath. She's standing there drying herself off. And I guess like wind blew on her. She like got wind started blasting her.
Like Back to the Future?
Yes, yeah. And so she stands looking in a mirror. And as she does, Akan comes up behind her and like grabs her and starts like, he grabs a chunk of her hair and starts sniffing it.
Sweet.
Then he holds her close.
Hot.
And he gives her a ring with a great stone, as she calls it, a stone of light in the middle. And he says to her the following. This is for both of you.
It's too large for you, my beloved one. So we'll place a half band of silver within it. I want you to wear it always as a part of me to maintain our telepathic communication for all time.
I could feel and sense the magic properties emanating from the ring. Akan put his hand under my chin, tilting my head up and back, and he kissed me with a long and lingering kiss on the lips. That's a terrible sentence. Picking me up in his arms, he carried me to the silken platform by the curved wall. Its firm softness supported our bodies with luxurious comfort as I gave myself to the man from outer space. My beloved, my life. Hey, oh, that was for you there, Alex. Can you whisper that like you're putting your dick in me?
My beloved, my life.
Akon whispered again and again as I surrendered in ecstasy to the magic of his lovemaking.
My beloved, my life. My beloved, my life.
I don't like that.
My beloved, my life.
Our bodies merged in magnetic union as the divine essence of our spirits became one, and in doing so, I became a whole.
So they...
A nice, soft, firm mattress where he gave me a kiss as he kissed my lips. Like, yeah, all right, good.
They make love. And when they're done, this isn't like banging. It's like the most romantic love making. She feels her soul connect with his on like a cosmic level. Wow. And she's like, he put a baby inside me, right?
It is the mystery of the dance.
And then the minute they're done, Akan takes a moment to just shit on Earthmen. It's crazy. Alex, this is for you.
The true purpose of mating is not only for the reproduction of offspring, but to retain and satisfy opposite forces of electricity, so that these elements may fuse and retain nature's balance between the sexes. One is not balanced without the other, and it is because Earthmen misunderstand these truths that there is so much suffering, ignorance, and primitive superstition and fear regarding sex. The purpose of mating is not to have biological offspring alone. Mating is forever, to retain the balanced whole between male and female. Each is necessary and vital to the other. So he's like woke. He's like woke mapping, dude.
Yeah, he's like, look, sex for sex is fun, and, that's the vibe. And he's like, you Earthmen, trash. You're just doing to have kids. First
you guys
off,
are not
wrong,
you guys are,
Akon.
Yeah,
too conservative.
That's the whole time I'm reading this and I'm like, is he describing our Earth? Because that's like,
what year
that's
is
not
it?
what meant. Yeah,
this when she gets pregnant.
Oh,
it
right,
is
that's earlier.
Yeah, it is like 1955 or 54, something like that.
So he's right.
No, maybe it's 58.
It was time for a revolution, and he was right. Sexually, he was right.
Yeah, technically, he's describing the moment. Yeah. After they make love, he takes her back to Earth, and she's pregnant with his space baby, and he tells her, look, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take you and the kid to my world. And at this point, more of the military show up, and they're after him, and she's like, you'll never catch him. He's my space boyfriend. Finally, he comes back. He returns to her as she's driving her MG, like up in the mountains.
He like appears in the car.
No, his ship shows up. And he literally is like,
fucking off the road.
Hey, I'll store your car in my cargo hold. We're going to my home world right now. So she just leaves. This is 1959 that she leaves. And she takes off into space. And as they're traveling through space, they, probably make out a bunch more.
Hell yeah.
And they're having this whole love affair thing. But again, it doesn't take long to get there. And then when she sees it, she describes, this is from Mathas, she describes his world as this.
And then I saw her, another brilliant sphere, another home of life, another island moving in the vast void of space, another Venus. This was Meton, or Venus 2, the home of an advanced race of people.
Venus 2.
Yeah, Venus 2, way easier to say. A world of gentle climate and gentle people. Vast seas of sapphire blue and emerald isles, and an atmosphere similar to Venus when it had lived, harboring the beginnings of this fantastic race of people. Other planets could be seen with their bright atmospheres, moving with a slow and graceful purposefulness around the small golden star. The star moved with its retinue of 7 planets in orbit about the 2 great stars, well within the tremendous corona of this magnificent star system known to Earth people as Alpha Centauri.
Cool.
So the planet in particular is very Earth-like. And that's kind of interesting because in Alpha Centauri, there have been a lot of Earth-like things looked at. And one of them is called Proxima Centauri B, which was discovered in 2016, which is 4.2 light years away. And Proxima Centauri B orbits Proxima Centauri, which is that single star, which is part of a triple star system, Alpha Centauri. Now, scientists are like, if any life did exist on that, the radiation would probably F it up really bad. And for those of you who are curious, the original discovery of Alpha Centauri was back in 1689, and Proxima was discovered in 1915. So it isn't like this was something she just said and then later was discovered, but there's an Earth-like planet there was 2016. Anyway, she lands, and she realizes she lands on the roof of Akan's home, which I could describe for you, but I'd rather you two describe it from this image she had made of what it was like.
Yep.
Can't wait to see this. Okay, so it looks like a oil dispersing thing.
It straight up looks like a butt plug with the fucking bottom part. Okay, it literally is shaped perfectly like a butt plug with a little wide part to stop it getting slipped into your rectum. At the very top, instead of it going to a tip, it goes to a flat circle,
which is where he lands. Yeah,
which is where he lands, and imagine the butt plug is hollow, and that's his house.
It looks it literally looks like those plug-in or where you pour like some kind of oil in and it like burns up and like puts it in your house, a disperser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doors, no windows. Air and light.
It's mostly window, right?
Yeah. Well, it says it here that the air and light pass through translucent material for the wall.
It's just like floating platforms in the air, basically, in like a drop of water.
Yeah, and there is a wall, but it's not really a wall. It's some sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's see-through.
And what am I looking at here? What's going on with this staircase? It doesn't look right.
The staircase, it says on here that it like floats and lights up.
It looks like a water slide. It doesn't look climbable.
In the illustration, it
has
looks
no
like
handrails. It looks
it says
troublesome.
Staircase slopes gradually, suspended without supports. So it's just there.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he lets her, come into his home, and he says, "This home is your home." She meets his full family, who are all beautiful, and he gifts her a necklace made of pink pearls.
Gave her a pearl necklace.
And then he says to her, Alex,
"Their light will give you light always. Wear them always with the ring, and our communication will remain unbroken forever. My chosen one, these pearls were left in the casket by my mother. She left them for my chosen one, whom she knew would come from another planet."
How long is their lifespan?
Long.
Does she mention
very,
it?
very long. And also time works differently for them. So that's how he's like, "I saw you when you were a kid, but I also knew you as an adult," kind of thing. Like, okay, all right. Apparently, his house was also constantly playing music, and he told her because music is the universal language and vibrations keep the house feeling good. Plants grow from it. People love to it.
That's kind of how I feel too, though.
Yeah, and he says it's comforting and beautiful.
I vibe out to music most of the time. It's pretty cool.
Same, big same. She then describes the world and people in detail, because even though she doesn't mention it here, and this is huge, by the way, she spends 9 years there.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight up
living on this planet, and also, giving birth to her child and all sorts of stuff. So she says this about the world, which I thought was kind of interesting.
"The homes of the people of Metan or Meton, I can never remember.
Yeah, maybe Meton. I don't know.
Why don't you just call it Venus 2? Okay.
Yeah, the homes of the people of Venus 2 were not more than 3 stories high, I learned, but they only lived in the first 2 floors. The top story was used for the kitchen and storerooms. They preferred to live and sleep close to the ground. It was healthier to do so, and it allowed them to retain the magnetic impulses emanating from the planet. There were no cities or skyscrapers as Earth people know them anywhere on Meton. Homes were scattered in park-like grounds amid flowering shrubs and beds of brilliant flowers. The smooth green lawns needed no cutting or trimming as the grass covered the ground like a springy moss. Here was an abundance of all things needed by civilization: food, water, all materials for building, an unlimited supply of energy on tap from the atmosphere and the universe. There were no shortages of any kind and no monetary system at all. It was perfectly organized. It was a perfectly organized way of life with an abundance of all things. The inhabitants tended and cared for all aspects of life within this great and powerful civilization. There were no films of violence, horror, and murder, and there were no drugs, drinking, or smoking.
Hold on. Whoa.
I don't know about that. There were no comics for children full of the... Yeah, no, Alex. Oh, no, dude. I'm sorry, we can't say that again. There were no comics for children full of the horrors of life on Earth. A corrupt civilization with a past and present satiated with cruelty, slavery, and a horrifying record of shooting and violence. All this type of thing, the way of life on Earth, was taboo on Meton.
There was no spicy foods, no foreign smells.
Nobody wanted to see it. It was unnecessary. Something only for barbarians, loathsome and savage foes who howled at the gates of their neighbors. I don't know about I don't know.
She's kind of turning into like I Am Legend by the end of this. Like she's getting turned into Matheson character.
It's like, I get like, it's interesting in that if you look at our media, a lot of the time the violence is usually most of the time served in a way to get to a point where violence is no longer necessary, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's always the plot line, is to get to a point where violence is no longer necessary. And maybe it's a humanity's coping mechanism with how violent we are as like a species. But the drugs and the smoking. I mean, violent video games is pretty fun. Like, I don't know, like that stuff. Maybe it's just our lizard brain is still too unevolved to not enjoy like ape take rock, hit thing hard. You know, like that's fun.
Yeah.
And comic books. What would a comic book be without that?
It's interesting to me that
Calvin Hobbes.
It seems
That's
like
true.
a pretty sanitized society.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone here is a perfect tall white, which again
is that weird racist?
It's
aspect
weird
of
because
it?
she's also from South Africa at a time where, you know, I don't know.
Apartheid.
So it's a very strange thing happening, but like, okay, sure. She looks around. She's like, man, this is going to be a lovely place for my son to grow up. By the way, she discovers she's having a boy. And she's like, I can't wait for him to get here, you know, for Akan to raise this child. And she travels with Akan to all the other planets. She like visits all the other planets in the system. They travel around. They spend 9 years just kind of like doing their thing. But of course, before all that, their son is born. And they have a conversation that is literally, it sounds like a scene from Twilight. And I'm just going to put it here for you two. This is how they name their kid.
Our son needs a name that means something to you and something to me.
Shall we call him Ailing? His name must begin with an A like yours, and it means noble, a prince of the royal blood. For indeed, he already has that beating and manner, and together with gentleness and humility.
You have chosen well. The names sound like our names. We shall now gather everyone and celebrate this wonderful occasion.
It sounds just like Renesmee or whatever the hell that girl's name is in Twilight, where they just like mash some names together. It's nonsense. Anyway.
Renesmee is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a boss from Castlevania.
A celebration takes place where, as she puts it, many luminaries from across their great civilization come to watch the birth of their son. Also, I think earlier I said, you two probably know better than me. Intergalactic still is within our solar system, or our galaxy.
Within the Milky Way, yeah.
Right,
Galaxy.
okay. What is galaxy to galaxy? So they can travel intergalactic.
Interstellar.
I was reversing it. Sorry. But that's what I meant. For some reason that like popped in my brain right now. I don't know why. 80, baby.
That's wrong.
Yeah. So,
which makes sense though. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I guess the distance between galaxies is enormous.
Yeah, they couldn't travel between galaxies, and that was an issue for them. So like people are traveling from all over the 7 planets to see this baby be born because this is like the first technically Earth child, one of their old stock of people, which is crazy. And so they all show up and people from all over these worlds are like, hey, this child should come be raised on our world and he'll learn this and this and this. And then the scientists are like, well, he should come work at the academies and he'll learn this and this and this. And Akan steps in because he can tell that she's freaked out. And Akan steps in and is like, no, I shall raise this boy and I shall be his mentor and he shall travel with me and learn of the universe. And everyone's like, oh, okay. Which is insane that that's what they had to do. But like, okay.
Yeah, that's weird, I guess. Raised by a village mentality.
It's so like from a book only.
It is. It's what's weird about the story is it's like, it's such a romance novel, but in it Akan is just fucking a weird and normal abduction alien. And I just wonder if like her perspective of reality or consciousness or whatever filtered this experience through her in a way that she was like desperate for or wanting, or it's just the way her brain made it. I don't know, because there is stupid, dumb shit to this book that is just like romance novel bullshit. And then Akan speaks and you're like, well, that doesn't, a lot of the time what he says doesn't fit the themes she's presenting in the book.
Right. He just says stuff. He'll like look at her and be like, I'm going to say some stuff to you right now. And she's like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. She surrounds that with description of like how in love she is with this guy. And I'm like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Like for real, what happened to you?
However, there is a problem. So this planet is not conducive with her physiology at all. And he tells her, look, your heart is a mess. You're going to be a mess. We can put like a thing in you that will stabilize you, but you will for the rest of your life for coming here, even back on Earth, be recovering from this trip.
Dude, that'd be good to know before you took her, by the way. Like, what a fucking dick.
And he's like, the only thing I can do, he's like, you'll live a life, but you will be affected by this, but you can't stay here or you'll die. So I'm going to send you back to Earth. I will raise your son, our son, and I will visit you telepathically, and I'll watch after you. And one day, your son will come and take you back, and you can come return, and we'll travel the stars together, right? And so he takes her home. After 9 years of living on Meton, she goes home. Here's the thing that's interesting. She says it was 9 years, but for the sake of...
She was not gone that long.
Yeah, for everyone involved, it's been 4 months.
Yeah, literally 4 months. I thought it was 3 in my head. I was off, but it's crazy.
Yeah. And she wasn't sad to leave her son. She's like, she's going to grow up, like he's an immortal and is going to grow up with an immortal father. And, you know, there's so much love between them. And so she accepts, and they go back to Earth. And when they land on Earth, he says to her,
breathe slowly and not deeply at first. Always stay in the fresh air. Gradually you will adapt again. Although your heart will not retain Earth time rhythm anymore, the tablets I have given you will maintain an even rhythm for your heart if you take one each year. Your heart is not strong, and the effect of the time change will always be felt.
I will say, and obviously this I don't believe this, but there's a lot of talk in this story and online about the fact that eventually when she dies in 1994, because, you know, scientists were saying that if she went to that world, it'd be irradiated as hell, right? She does die of cancer in 1994. So it's like, everyone's like, that's what got her, dude. I don't know if that's true. I don't particularly buy that, but I figured I would say that little bit of the story.
What kind of cancer did she die of?
I do not know.
I can't remember. Yeah. No, it's fine.
And then they embrace, and they have one last face-to-face conversation.
I bet it's going to be like super romantic and affecting. Remember always that my love will be with you forever. Our telepathic link remains on the alpha rhythm between our brains. And this physical parting is only temporary. Our son, ailing, will come to fetch you home again. Now, you must go back to care for your Earth family.
I shall live only for you, and my love for you will give me strength.
Like, now go actually to your real family. Bye. And she's like, I love you. F them. So he undocks her MG from the ship's cargo hold, and she jumps back in it, and he takes off to space again. He just zips away.
She's like driving a retro car now, basically.
Yep. Well, again, it's only been 4 months, according to her. She returns to her home, back to her family, and 21 years passes before she writes this book. She says that, you know, he would visit her through visions, telepathically. She'd see her son growing up through visions, but they never again reached, like, talk to her. She didn't touch them or anything.
I would say it's also interesting. Another thing with Akon saying what he said, the alpha rhythm between your brains, that's kind of the meditative state. When you get into that point, it's like with where you're aware but not actively thinking, that kind of like Zen state. It's also where the binaural beats go between 8 and 12 hertz, which is the same thing, but it is a meditative state, and it was discovered by a science, like that was actively discovered in early 1900s.
That was trippy, doing the binaural beats, like, still, like that was one of the most, like,
I still use them,
like, hard to replicate mind states that I've ever discovered.
It's very strange. But
it doesn't feel like being on any drug. It's like its own weird thing.
It's a very zen state it brings me to. But again, it's interesting. He says the alpha rhythm between our brains, because that's that meditative state of brain waves, man. That's just like where that is. It's so weird. Honestly,
if it's not real, it's incredibly fun sci-fi in that they take from real life.
Well researched.
Which I'm like, not like the best written book ever, but well researched.
No.
And I love that. I love that about it. And I think it's super fun. So she takes this next 21 years until she releases the book to basically try to spread the word of Akan's wisdom and her love for him and their space child. And she would continue to do this until her dying day. If you watch the documentary I talked about, her nurse is like, yeah, she would tell me all the time about her space boyfriend and her kid. She would just be like, you want to hear? Come here. I'll tell you about it. However, and this is where we start to get into the reality of things. Despite her sister and first husband attesting to the witnessing of a UFO, much of the rest of her story is completely unsubstantiated. the revisitations, the time she go off with him, even the pregnancy, there's no real record. And again, she was pregnant with this kid while on Earth, apparently.
Yeah.
In fact, Elizabeth's son, David, who is a real person and not a space child, has no recollection of the events, the absence, or the pregnancy. And he was like, look, I was alive in 1959 when she supposedly did this, and I don't remember that happening at all. When it comes to world ufology, most people don't believe her story. There are many who are like, it deserves further explanation, but most people are like, seems just kind of like a tale she told.
They just want her to have a win.
And I think the biggest issue, unfortunately, comes from her post 1959 when she's on her kind of like, I'm trying to tell people about this and do this, because she has a photo that she insists is his UFO. Except as far as I can tell, and I'll give it to you, it just looks like someone threw a hubcap, dude. There you go.
Oh, yeah, I know this photo.
I mean, that literally is what it looks like.
Yeah, it just looks like someone threw a hubcap and took a photo.
Like, the fact that it's like sideways is like so whack. Like,
it's got motion blur on it.
It looks like somebody literally just threw it like straight up, like not even like Captain America style, but like putting a quarter in the slot style.
And then when it comes to like all the other things, right? Because remember, she was given a pearl necklace and an ear and a ring to their bond. And so she has all that stuff, and there's a photo of it. And again, this ring straight up just looks like a thing you would buy at like a gift shop at like Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay.
It looks like a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, this looks like literally, I was going to say like some kind of like pirate, like Halloween type, like that comes with like a gun that has a red thing in the tip kind of situation.
You would think a ring where the diamond or whatever the jewel is made of light would be like really cool looking, and it just looks like a prop.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering, because I was, and I had to look this information up, and I'm so glad I did. Her first two husbands were dead before 1959. So when she went off to go have her space baby, it was just like her and her kids at home, and then family members, which I think is even crazier. Her sister was still there, I assume, raising the kids, according to her. I don't know, man, but it's crazy. She just like dipped out on her kids. Maybe, honestly, this is one of those like two husbands dead. She like had to get away. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but she married her third husband and last husband in 1963. And when asked about her space lover, because I was like, I have to know, he said, that's all right with me as long as he stays in space where he belongs.
That's awesome. Bravo,
That's
good sir.
Such a funny fucking
Bravo.
roast.
Fucking phenomenal response.
Yeah. So I think the best way to sum this whole thing up is what ufologist Cynthia Hind noted, which was that Elizabeth absolutely 100% believes what happened. Whether it's real or not, she thinks she's telling the truth. And even though Hind suspects that it might just be an act of imagination or illusions in like a dream state or whatever, it's still an incredibly fascinating story and one that deserves to be looked at. And I feel like that's exactly what it is.
Agreed. I mean, it could very well be that situation where like she said, there were other witnesses. They did see a UFO thing, and she just became obsessed in a way that like led to this fantastical scenario in her head. As we mentioned, she was well read. She was educated before any of this anyway. So, grasping for something to tell a story that maybe people will believe, so the people will finally believe you.
It's kind of just
also
like
you can definitely see some like inner trauma work through it, of like talking about how like sex with human men is like terrible and they don't care, and like you're all too conservative with that shit. It's like maybe she's working through what she just believes, like she's not getting what she wants at home, clearly, is what the issue is. But it's interesting because there is maybe a nugget of something that happened that set her down this path. Very similar to Whitley Strieber that we talked about last week, where I think something happened and then he created a world afterward,
I think
whether
it is
because the book sold well or whatever.
I think it is important to remember the art element of it. Like, it's weird to think about. Like, I was just going to say, it's like a band, right? It's like the bands all make up like the scene, right? And all the bands have like some kind of like true something at the core. Like all the ones, like if you think about like all the bands we talked about in LA month, about like the ones like the Doors and all those bands that were in the Sunset Strip at that one time, right? And they all kind of come together and make the scene together, but though they all share some sort of small thing together, they all kind of like also had to do a business and all had to like compete with each other and kind of like to become part of the zeitgeist. So it ends up kind of being like a creative sort of thing. You kind of get like their style of writing comes into play. Like Bill Tompkins, right? If he was like a good writer, right? If he was like
a misogynistic piece of garbage.
Well, even if he was a misogynistic piece of garbage, I mean, how many fucking authors do you know who are misogynistic pieces of garbage? I'm just saying, if he was a good writer, right? Like things would be different. His story would hit different. It would occupy a different spot in the story. It's weird, but it's true.
And like comparatively, she writes incredibly well. But if you read the book, again, a lot of repetitive language. It's still very amateurish
and horny
of stuff that is just like, I was sitting there with Akan and he just said, and then it's paragraphs of him saying like techno babble.
Yeah, but what's crazy again, and this is the part where you're like, what the fuck? Her typical writing in the book is again repetitive, a lot of the same words, not very. But then when Akan speaks, it's like a quantum theory that exists today. It is like a description of a quantum theory in a way that like we can kind of comprehend. And it's just, it almost doesn't fit everywhere else in the book where she talks.
But it also follows, like we've done this before, where some people, proto-humans from our solar system, went off, established a utopian perfect society, brought a few of us there, and we were like, oh, we screwed up, bro. And it happens so frequently that it feels like, ignoring the space thing, ignoring all of it, that there is this unified, like, grand UFO theory of, and I think this goes back to, you could say this is part of religion, it's part of anything where we look to a higher power and we're like, guide us, please. And they're like, no, figure it out yourself. Every time. They're just like, please, God, or please, alien, or please, spaghetti monster, whatever, guide us. And they're like, no, you must solve this yourself, bro. Every time.
That's very Bible-y.
It is very Bible-y, but on the other side of play, just for the sake of conversation as we wrap up, devil's advocating it, there is, I would say, weight to the argument that you have to live through something to truly understand it.
Like we were talking about, yeah.
Like to have us for aliens to come down and tell us it's all about love, just love each other, would that really sink in?
They'd be
as
shot
opposed
dead.
To this? Yeah, exactly. Like just on a personal, like anecdotal level, therapy is really good for that, of like having a recognition moment and processing something in a way that's just core that you really can't put words to, that gives you a new perspective. Can aliens even force humanity to love you? If that's the answer.
Also, more importantly, I don't know that the majority of humans understand what love is.
I agree with you. And I think that's the issue, is like, they're saying we can't, but maybe that's the, like, part of me wonders if that's the reason, because you have to experience it to understand it before
and
you can even
while
make
experiencing
moves
it,
on
it may not actually be love.
It change. Yeah, your understanding of it changes when you're actively in it and you're learning about it and you're exploring it and you realize what's not and what is. And aliens can land and tell all of us on the grand stage it's all about love, and we now know aliens are real. But is it going to actually make an effect on the people who, like you said, may not even know what love is?
Yes, the definition of it, because everyone has a different, like, I mean, even in love, there's familial love, and there's the bond between friends, and there's a bond between a relationship you're having, and even in the relationship, there's different versions of love. Like,
your relationship evolves like a living thing in the years you're with them.
So you know how like Superman, like inspires, even though he's like obviously impossible to exist. Right. Like there's no real like meaningfulness to what he does or anything, because it has no like correlation to what's going on in real life, but we follow it because we can like be inspired by Superman because something about what he does and why he does it resonates. I feel like the idea of the alien as like this outsider perspective that's like beyond us in technology. I feel like the fact, or just like super cultured and like super like over all our problems, like wise past us. There's something
Star Trek kind of like understanding of humanity.
There's something sort of like about these personal stories and the fact that it's often wrapped up in like coochie stuff, that it's like kind of aspirational or something. Like it is aligned with the desires of the author in some sort of very intimate way. I feel like there's something about that. I feel like there's something about the authors writing these stories almost as like a fable.
I mean, there's no difference than
every one of them.
Most religious texts are essentially, if you cut it down to bare bone stuff, most of them are like, person sent from above comes to earth and tries to teach us to be better. That's it. Like, if you just simplify it, doesn't really matter which religion, most of them are like that.
And that's like, hell, even in the Bible, like Jesus is that person.
Yeah.
He's very much like that. He's like the epitome of like, which is why I love the Gnostic Bible version of him, where he's like a guru, like as opposed to like the chosen one, essentially. But it's the same lesson.
Same vibe.
It's always the same lesson, trying to lead by example, like cared. The answer is so fucking clichély, stupidly simple that it still doesn't sink in. Care about each other, love each other, and everything will work out. Which,
for anyone who has like actually read the Bible, most of what that dude's doing is like, oh, you guys don't want to touch that woman? Hey, woman, come over here. I'll touch you. Like, it's a vibe. And I think that's super interesting that that's kind of what this guy's saying, even though it's a different way of saying it. But he's like, Akan's like, men and women are like just different. You know, we're all light, man. And like, there's a balance to it, and you got to treat each other right. Dude.
Cool,
like,
man.
same overarching theme, but it's like across the board. It's just interesting. I think that is, if we take away all of like, if we say religion isn't real and aliens aren't real and like whatever, if we're just then even then the concept of like the repeated storytellings over and over and over again, it's like, this isn't new. We just choose to ignore it.
Yeah, there's something about our inherent nature that seeks unity and love and community in a way that we're not getting it and haven't been getting it in God knows how long.
So we're inventing like messengers from space. We're basically inventing religion again.
Yeah, you can absolutely see it that way. I agree. And that's weird as fuck. Like,
and superheroes, like aliens, these types of aliens.
Superman is basically like he
is an alien. He literally is an alien.
Moses initially, right?
Yeah,
like,
he literally is an alien.
But like I said earlier, all our stories in comic books and that include violence are always violence in the pursuit of peace and harmony with everybody else. It's always, the end goal is always no violence. We just know nothing else really as a species.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for no censorship also, though, which I feel like is not a big one for this guy. But
this dude was like, no, comics are bad. And I'm like,
comics are bad. I'm like, okay, so this guy's like down with like what the kids are into on Earth right now, and he's making topical
and that's where I wonder
judgments.
if it's like her filter is filtering this.
Yes, like why would they know about comics from Earth?
Will
like
not
why would
be
they
anywhere?
Right.
We'll hide the Labubu's from the children.
Like the men aren't like kinky enough for her, but comics and violence, that's a line too far.
Batman and Robin, too kinky.
Which is very American values in a weird way.
It's funny how the comic book readers ended up being like the most like stereotypically like conservative people on the planet.
I don't know. It's just a weird. I love the patterns you can see in her story compared to others. The weird stuff that does boil down to like an understanding of quantum science in a strange way. And then the love story on top of it, which is so thick.
There's something
with
fascinating.
Like prose.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Yeah, it's interesting. Great story. That's it for us, everybody. We're off to go do a mini-sode at patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod as we always do. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. We appreciate you. We love you. Goodbye. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chilluminati podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mike Martin, joined by I don't know who they are. There's two. What? Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer.
No.
Neo and Trinity.
No.
I don't understand, and I probably never will. Let me just tell you right now that there's two. Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield.
I'm telling you, I think he literally just looked up famous duos.
Cheech and Chong.
And has just been going through the list ever since.
I'm trying to dig deep. Which one of you is Dick Powell?
Me? Your name's Jesse Cox. I want Chilluminati.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chilluminati podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mike Martin, joined by Alex and Jesse. Like a shooting star across the sky that's actually a UFO.